Due to my innate fertile body, I married the Serpent King. My twin sister married the Dragon King. Legend says those with innate fertile bodies will give birth to the child of destiny. Deeply favored by the Serpent King, I soon became the Serpent Queen of the demon tribe. The Serpent clan is devoted. I am the Snake King's only mate. The Snake King holds me in his palm, treasuring me like a pearl. Meanwhile, my sister has spent the past century constantly trying to conceive. If she fails to bear offspring again, the Dragon King will demote her to concubine status. When we met, she was plump and fair-skinned, with a pale complexion and extreme anguish. My sister, consumed by jealousy, invited me to visit the Dragon Palace and then pushed me into the abyss. In the blink of an eye, I was reborn on the day of the suitor selection. My sister preemptively chose the Serpent King. I knew she had been reborn too, but she didn't know the terror of the serpent's offspring. 01. My sister and I are twins, with identical birth dates and horoscopes. Both of us could freely choose our husbands. It was prophesied that someone in my family would bear a child with innate celestial pregnancy, and such a person could give birth to a child of destiny. My sister and I were respectively sought in marriage by the Dragon and Serpent clans. Now before us lie 2 marriage contracts. One marriage contract is from the Dragon King of the Sea, Tobin. One marriage certificate belongs to the Serpent King of the Demon Realm, Zephyr. In the previous life, it was my elder sister who chose first. She said the Dragon King had long dwelled beneath the sea, so she would endure the hardships in my stead. Secretly, she believed she could bear the child of destiny for the Dragon King, and in this life, my sister once again rushed to pick up one of the marriage certificates before me. She gave me a deep look and haughtily lifted her chin. Little sister. The serpent tribe dwells deep in the demon realm, inherently cruel. Life there is harsh. Let your elder sister bear it for you. Father personally wrote elder sister's name on Zephyr's marriage contract. Elder sister triumphantly picked up the marriage contract, examining it repeatedly. Little sister, the dragon clan spans the 4 seas, blessing the world. When you ascend the dragon mother's throne, you must inform your elder sister. The Dragon King has many concubines. I lack her cunning. In this life, I have my own goals, not that queen's throne that trapped me, nor will I think about bearing a destined child for anyone. I glanced at her indifferently. In the previous life, the Serpent King indeed had only me as his woman, and I was quickly crowned Serpent Queen after marrying him, but these are all superficial, because I was born with a fertile body. That's why the Snake King favored me so much. My sister was jealous that I was the Snake King's only woman, so she pushed me into the abyss. Now I have been reborn. I saw my enchantingly curvaceous elder sister smiling at me with a tilted smirk. I realized my sister had also been reborn. Did she really think she'd live in luxury by rushing to choose the Serpent King as her husband? Let my sister slowly discover the horrors of the Serpent clan's offspring traditions. 02. I sat in the spacious palanquin, the sound of rushing water audible in my ears. By the time I regained my senses, I was already seated in the bridal chamber, a mere concubine, and you expect this prince to intervene personally. I hurriedly lifted my own veil and looked at the supremely arrogant Dragon King Tobin. Both my sister and I are ordinary people. The Dragon King and the Snake King Zephyr both humbled themselves to seek marriage. It's because women in our family have been born with innate fertility bodies. Right now, Tobin both desires and utterly despises me, commanding in a domineering tone, "Strip yourself naked and lie down on the bed." The entire night was spent in the hibiscus curtain bed, shaking without cease. Early the next morning, I slowly crawled out of bed, supporting my nearly broken waist. Tobin had already left by the latter half of the night. He didn't forget to mock me with a final jab. "Useless thing, you failed to satisfy this king." Watching his retreating figure, I finally let out a sigh of relief. But I've come to understand, among my sister's many skills, she must be exceptionally talented in bed, otherwise, she wouldn't have become the Dragon Queen so soon after marrying Tobin without even getting pregnant, and I was left out in the cold. Tobin abandoned me in the middle of the night, making me the laughingstock of the entire Dragon Palace. Even the little maid serving me gave me attitude. Truly a useless person, everyone looked down on me. The customary pulse check after serving the bedchamber was automatically overlooked as well. I was utterly and completely neglected. It wasn't until news came that my sister would be crowned as the Serpent Queen that anyone remembered my existence in the Dragon Palace. At this moment, my innate pregnancy constitution also showed a reaction. 03. The coronation ceremony for the Snake Queen will be held in 100 days. The Snake King invited friends and relatives from all directions, and the Dragon Palace also received an invitation, and it's double the amount. One was sent by the Serpent King, the other by my sister. She had Zephyr, the Serpent King's most trusted subordinate, deliver it to me personally. Miss Celia, this invitation was personally written by our Serpent Queen. Don't lose it. The visitor was the Snake King's own younger brother, whose arrogance was no less than Tobin's. Up until now, I'm not even considered one of Tobin's concubines. When he found me, I was cooking porridge in a small pot. The place I lived was extremely remote, and the servants who attended to me had long since fled. I'm just a discarded, useless thing now. I took the invitation from Magnus, slightly curling the corner of my mouth. The Serpent King has hundreds of brothers, sister. You probably don't know yet the unspoken rules within the Serpent clan. This rule is even more terrifying than the Dragon Palaces. 04. After Magnus left, the people in the Dragon Palace finally remembered someone like me. Tobin officially announced that I am his 99th concubine. During my years in the Dragon Palace, Tobin has taken dozens more concubines. The same happened in my previous life. Elder sister never bore an heir, while Tobin kept adding concubines every year. Only this lifetime, the number has grown even larger than before, and all these women come from families that have produced highly fertile females. These days coincided with the birthday of one of Tobin's noble concubines, and I was also invited. Honestly, seeing these stunningly beautiful female demons, I truly admire my sister. In her previous life, she managed to make Tobin crown her as queen for 100 years despite being an ordinary human. Her methods were indeed remarkable. However, my aspirations lie elsewhere. I have my own path to walk. You are, a green-robed concubine deliberately teased, pursing her lips. Your sister is the Serpent Queen, while you are just number 99. I'm just a concubine unworthy of even having a name. Because Tobin is desperate for an heir, all new arrivals are numbered. Dragon Palace's offspring are too difficult to conceive. Not a single woman has shown any sign of pregnancy yet, although I entered the Dragon Palace earlier than most. I've been consistently overlooked and now find myself at the bottom of the hierarchy. Sister 99 is considered someone of status after all. Tobin's primary wife appeared magnanimous on the surface, yet seized every opportunity to mock me. She was the first to marry into the Dragon Palace, yet after centuries, she remains merely a concubine. I simply observe them with detached calm. In worldly terms, these are just a bunch of hens that don't lay eggs, given a second chance at life. I originally thought to get along well with them and warn them before that incident occurred, to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past life where everyone died tragically, but now it seems none of them deserve to live. It was supposed to be a birthday banquet, yet everyone ended up discussing how long Tobin slept with whom, and how many times Tobin could do it in one night, along with similar topics. That green-robed concubine suddenly brought me up. I heard that Sister 99, during her first time serving our husband, actually made him leave in anger. Back then, when Tobin abandoned me in the middle of the night and went to another concubine, it became a long-running joke. Even after all these years, it's still gossip material. I was slightly puzzled. Even if my sister became the Snake Queen, it had nothing to do with them, yet it seemed like everyone was targeting me. It didn't take long for me to understand the reason. Tobin attended the Snake Clan's coronation ceremony, taking only me as his female companion. 05. I've been preoccupied with affairs these past years and neglected you. Tobin racked his brains but still couldn't recall my name. Recalling this time in my previous life, the Dragon Palace was actually holding my sister's coronation ceremony as queen. Besides my sister's methods, the main reason was that I had the Snake King frequently visit the Dragon Palace. It was of great help to my sister. Back then, Tobin had my name memorized perfectly. Seeing that he genuinely couldn't recall, I volunteered. Celia. Oh, your sister the Serpent Queen is called Amara. Indeed, once you reach a high position, people remember you. I suddenly remembered something that happened in my previous life. It was undoubtedly the handiwork of my dear elder sister. If I take the blame again this time, I'll surely die without a burial place, I said. It's just a trivial matter of delivering an invitation. Yet the great general of the Serpent tribe came personally. I've long heard that General Magnus of the Serpent tribe has been searching for a fire tribute weapon. In the previous life, it was the fire sickle from the Dragon Palace that went missing, which later appeared in Magnus' hands. At that time, my sister put on an absolutely convincing act. She cried so hard her eyeballs nearly fell out of their sockets. I saw it with my own eyes, heard it with my own ears. It was the Serpent Queen. No one doubted her words. By then, I had already become the Serpent Queen, and the Dragon Palace, out of respect for the Serpent King, swallowed this bitter pill in silence. This time, my sister relied on rebirth to repeat her old tricks, attempting to kill me when I had no support. I must take the initiative, I said. Although the Snake Clan isn't short of weapons, a divine weapon like the fire sickle is coveted by many. Retrieving the fire sickle requires breaking the formation, and my sister knows the Dragon Palace better than anyone else. Tobin sent someone to investigate with half-belief, and indeed the protective array guarding the fire sickle had been breached. The divine weapon had vanished without a trace. The truth was that Magnus of the Serpent Clan had taken the fire sickle. 06. The day of the Serpent Clan's coronation ceremony arrived swiftly. I sat next to Tobin and left the dragon palace. Turning my head, I saw 98 pairs of bloodshot eyes. I slightly raised the corner of my mouth, although Tobin still suspected me, even thinking I was a spy sent by the Snake Clan. He had made some preparations. I haven't gained his trust yet, and I'm in no hurry. The biggest flaw of arrogant people is that they only believe what they see. Tobin is like this, so is the Snake King. The coronation ceremony of the Serpent Clan is truly a once-in-a-century spectacle, however. The Serpent Clan ultimately cannot compare to the Dragon Clan, a century ago. The Dragon Clan's coronation ceremony made all demon tribes across the four seas remember the name Amara, and now, many people cast malicious glances at the Snake Queen sitting on the high platform. It turns out many people were well aware of the rules concerning the Serpent tribe, yet fate is truly a peculiar thing. When Tobin saw Amara, he reached out and pinched my chin. Though you two look alike, how come you appear so ordinary? Tobin let out a long sigh. It seemed he was lamenting the missed romantic opportunity. At this moment, Amara walked down from the stage, step by step towards me. She wore an arrogant smile on her face, with slightly mocking eyes. Little sister, I've been waiting for you for so long. Sigh. Amara feigned a disappointed sigh. Little sister, you've truly let me down. Just as I was puzzled, I saw her casually wave her hand. A group of serpent soldiers then escorted someone forward. It was Magnus, the one who had delivered the invitation to me. I begged the Dragon King to spare my sister. She actually committed such an unforgivable act. My sister's eyes reddened. Her inexplicable words were clearly meant to deliberately cause misunderstanding. Tobin raised his hand and pushed me forward, causing me to stagger and nearly fall. He laughed heartily. Oh, what if I don't forgive you? When he looked at his sister now, there was an indescribable fire in his eyes. The sister took out a handkerchief and began to sob quietly. Can you really not spare my sister's life? Just as the sister finished speaking, the kneeling Magnus suddenly stood up, his body radiating a brilliant red light. He was holding the stolen fire sickle from the Dragon Palace, striding towards me with large steps. Bitch, how dare you betray me? The divine weapon's flaming sickle swept toward me, wreathed in fire. I collapsed to the ground, completely immobilized. Watching helplessly as the flames engulfed me, just as the flames consumed me, I saw a triumphant smirk curl at the corner of my sister's lips. It turns out she had been planning to kill me from the very moment she was reborn. 07. Sigh. I really didn't want to reveal myself, just as everyone was watching how I'd be burned to ashes by the divine flames. A golden light suddenly enveloped my body. Someone exclaimed in shock. It's a golden immortal. Heavens, it's actually the aura of a golden immortal. I'm clearly just an ordinary person, so why do I have the aura of a golden immortal? The flames that swept over me were completely absorbed by the golden light protecting me. The flames were like nourishment, completely devoured by this ring of golden light. Even at the final moment when the flames disappeared, there was a poof sound, just like the sound of a satisfied burp after a meal. Impossible. My sister suddenly went berserk and charged at me. Just as her hands were about to clutch my throat, someone kicked her. No. My sister's eyes widened in fury, her entire face contorted with rage. Her hoarse scream betrayed her resentment. Why is it always you? Only I understood what she meant. Why is it always me, pregnant, my beloved consort? Tobin's arm tightened around my waist. It was he who had just kicked my sister out. An expression of disbelief appeared on his face, and surprise. He clearly only slept with me for half the night. Clearly, I'm so clueless about romance. Tobin laughed excitedly. Indeed, heaven blesses our dragon clan. Heaven bless our dragon clan. Only the most powerful dragon offspring can possess the body of a golden immortal, I declare. Tobin's expression changed again. He clearly didn't remember my name. He quickly masked his embarrassment, gripping my wrist tightly with one hand. His voice was gentle, his gaze overflowing with deep affection. My beloved consort, from this moment onward, you shall be the dragon mother of our dragon clan. As Tobin uttered these words, I saw my sister's face turn ashen pale. Meanwhile, Tobin turned with an icy glare toward the Serpent King. Zephyr, keep your queen and your subordinates in check, or I won't hesitate to initiate a dragon-serpent war. 08. The Snake Clan suffered a humiliating loss of face during their queen coronation ceremony. As for the grand ceremony, it was never held. The Dragon Clan reclaimed the divine weapon Fire Sickle, which was taken back to the Dragon Palace as the protective armament for the Dragon Prince. Meanwhile, I, an ordinary, unremarkable woman, gained sudden fame across the four seas for my innate fertility, having conceived the Dragon King's sole heir. The female members of my clan have become highly sought after by various demon tribes. A natural conception body is far more than just being prone to pregnancy, protected by heavenly laws. Their offspring are destined to be extraordinary. Like the current Dragon King Tobin, he is among the higher-ranking terrestrial immortals, yet the dragon child in my womb has already emitted the aura of a golden immortal. surpassing even his rank, as long as the dragon child is born safely. It will at least possess the body of a golden immortal. Tobin was overwhelmed with excitement and invited all seas to celebrate the dragon clan's impending birth of its mightiest heir, with feasts lasting over a full month. During this time, my parents were also invited and even received 2 longevity elixirs. Some even hoped my parents would keep up the good work and have more children, as ordinary humans. We had never received such treatment before. When my father married my sister and me to the dragon and snake clans, it was just a casual decision. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect this. I actually inherited the family's innate pregnancy constitution. Unlike the joyful father, it was the mother who kept a sullen face. Seeing the preferential treatment I received from the dragon clan, she was filled with resentment. "You're just pregnant. What woman in this world can't bear a child, once your child is born? The dragon clan probably won't need you anymore." Mother put on a concerned expression. "Give your ability back to your sister." Still, I don't understand, but I do know that my sister is now imprisoned by the snake clan, inciting Mother to act against me. "Don't you understand? You're so ordinary. Your innate fertility was originally meant for your sister." Mother wanted me to return what didn't belong to me to my sister, which made me sneer coldly. I ordered my parents to be expelled from the Dragon Palace, and Tobin was going to hold a grand coronation ceremony for me. 09. I personally wrote an invitation letter for my sister, just as my sister had done before. The invitation sent from the Dragon Palace to the Serpent Clan. There are 2 copies. This humble one pays respects to the Dragon Mother. The green-robed concubine who had mocked me before has been kneeling at my door for 3 months now. Not just her, but also Tobin's other 90-plus concubines. Every one of them mocked me, and Tobin made them kneel until I forgave them. Of course I would never forgive them. I deliberately sent these women to deliver my queen coronation invitations. The message I received was my sister cursing like a madwoman. She has many methods, and since I sent people to the Snake Clan, the Snake King will bring her to the Dragon Palace. Although I haven't been officially in theft yet, I'm already the only dragon queen in the Dragon Palace now. I immediately sent a letter to my father and asked him to bring someone with him. Received father's reply, not only agreeing to my suggestion but also informing me that he had already confined Mother. Father didn't divorce Mother because he still wanted to have more daughters. As expected, people won't act without personal gain. After all, they have me as the shining example. My coronation ceremony as queen proceeded as scheduled. Tobin has been protecting me all along, and he's been boasting lately about hitting the mark on his first try. At the coronation ceremony, I also saw my sister. She looked utterly exhausted, leaning weakly against the Snake King. Her current appearance suggests she's deeply attached to the Serpent King, their relationship seemingly intimate. As for her provocative gaze, I'll ignore it for now. She'll soon receive the gift I've prepared for her, amidst my sister's fiery glare and jealous stares. I completed the Dragon Palace's coronation ceremony as queen, thus becoming the undisputed Dragon Queen. Dressed in regal attire with a crown upon my head, I step by step approach my sister whose face has turned ashen. "Sister, you once said you would congratulate me when I ascended the Dragon Mother's throne." My sister kept her word, and now I shall fulfill my promise. When I was reborn, I swore an oath to ensure my dear sister's eternal downfall. I'll call someone up immediately. When my sister saw her, her expression changed too. My sister immediately shouted at me, "Celia, what are you trying to do?" 10. How dare you? Slap. Just as my sister called out my name, she was sent flying by a slap. It was the Snake King Zephyr. He said sharply, "Wench, apologize to the Dragon Queen at once. Elder sister would never stoop below me, not in any lifetime." She looked at me with venomous hatred in her eyes. At that moment, a woman bearing 5 or 6 parts resemblance to me and my sister swayed her willow-like demonic figure as she approached the Serpent King. Your humble daughter Leona pays respects to the Serpent King. Leona, my cousin, in a past life, by a twist of fate, she became the concubine of Dragon King Tobin. Most importantly, she is highly fertile. Although she was not born with a fertile constitution, nor blessed by divine providence, she would not bear extraordinary offspring. However, she was highly fertile. For dragons who yearned for heirs and sought to rival their own kind, she was an excellent candidate. In her past life, she had carried Tobin's child, but Tobin knew nothing about this matter. Both that child and Leona died at the hands of my sister. Leona came here for revenge. She wasn't reborn either. I was the one who told her everything. Since there's a chance to change my fate, I'm willing to try. This is her resolution, however. I also told her about the unwritten rules of the Snake Clan. After 2 days of consideration, she decided to go. She wants to avenge her past life and fight for an opportunity for herself. If she could truly bear offspring for the Serpent Clan, she would have the chance to replace my sister, to become the sole Serpent Queen. Leona indeed caught the Serpent King's attention, and that very night he favored her. I even invited them to stay longer at the Dragon Palace. The Serpent King spent almost every night with Leona. Leona never disappointed me. After each intimate encounter with the Serpent King, she would report back to her sister. Only then did her sister realize that the Serpent King didn't desire just one woman. To become the Serpent Queen, one must bear his offspring. Celia, all you're good for is giving birth. What else can you even do? My sister stormed into my palace. Brandishing a dagger as she lunged at me, she was kicked flying by a palace maid. I was swiftly shielded by a group of Dragonkin soldiers. I ordered my sister to be released. As she was being escorted away from the Dragon Palace, I told her one thing, "Sister, the Serpent Clan has an unwritten rule that you probably don't know about." She suddenly looked at me with terrified eyes. "What do you mean?" I tilted the corner of my mouth, looking down at her condescendingly. "If she cannot conceive the Snake King's child soon, she will be abandoned by him." What kind of treatment would a woman abandoned by the Snake King receive among the Serpent tribe? The Snake King has hundreds of brothers, you know. My sister immediately understood my implication, and her hatred for me grew deeper. When she left the Dragon Palace, she left behind a deep hatred for me. "Celia, I swear to heaven, in this lifetime, it's either your death or mine. I'll be waiting for her. I've been looking forward to this day." 11. Time flies like an arrow. I have carried the dragon child for 100 years. A century-old dragon child is an omen of great prosperity. 100 years is but a fleeting moment in the Dragon Palace. Over the past century, Tobin never took another concubine and doted on me even more. I have become the hope of the entire dragon race. My dragon child emits the aura of a golden immortal with increasing frequency. This foretells that his birthday is also approaching soon. News about my sister and the Serpent Clan keeps coming in. Currently, my cousin Leona is in favor, having given birth to over 10 children in her first litter for the Serpent King. Rumor has it she's pregnant again recently. Now Zephyr almost exclusively favors her. Rumors are spreading that she will be made the Snake Queen. However, her children are all quite ordinary, with no potential to become the chosen one. As for my sister, she was long abandoned by the Snake King. Now she's passionately involved with that Magnus. This lover of mine treats her as his most precious treasure, not letting anyone else get close. I have to admit, my sister has had her share of luck. Her methods are always endless and ever-changing. The upside is, she's constantly in precarious situations, with no time to harm me. Decades ago, she sent me several distress letters through messengers, all of which I ignored. It said she couldn't bear children for the Serpent Clan, so many people felt free to toy with her. Later she sent the letter home, hoping her mother would help her make trouble for me, but her mother had just given birth to a daughter and was being pampered by everyone. She had no time to spare for her, and precisely at times like these, I become certain that my sister must be plotting something. My sister here is not one to admit defeat. I picked up that fire sickle and swung it twice. The divine power on it was nearly drained by the dragon child in my womb. Calculating the time. That event should be coming soon. I've already made my preparations. 12. My beloved consort, on the day you give birth to our dragon heir, our dragon palace must hold grand celebrations. Tobin now wants to give me all the finest things. My beloved consort, you've endured hardships for a century. As long as our dragon heir is born safely, you'll be the greatest contributor to our dragon clan. Tobin filled my palace with an endless stream of gifts. Especially those precious items that can enhance cultivation, all placed around me. My beloved consort, these are all prepared for our dragon heir. Tobin looked me up and down again, then gently shook his head. Now that you are the dragon mother, your every word and action represents the dignity of the dragon palace. Tobin disliked my plain attire and insufficiently glamorous appearance. I knew he must have secretly been with my elder sister. Indeed, my existence has proven the reality and value of innate pregnancy constitution. Then my sister must have been tested by many: Snake King Zephyr, Serpent General Magnus, those Snake Brethren, and the Dragon King. These individuals all desire an exceptionally powerful heir. Oh no, one is definitely not enough. It's better to have more. My sister is skilled at dressing up, with captivatingly beautiful features between her brows, and exceptional skills in bed. Men who stay with her for long easily forget their original intentions. One after another, they all fell under my sister's spell. Now it seems things are slowly becoming the same as in the previous life. I took a deep look at the Dragon King Tobin before me. On the day the dragon child is born, I shall adorn myself most beautifully. I will make sure everyone remembers my name, Celia. Tobin thought I was flattering him like other women, and immediately burst into laughter again. My beloved consort, Your innate pregnancy physique is unique across the three realms. After our dragon child is born, we must work hard to have more dragon children, protected by the heavenly laws. Our dragon offspring will be born with golden immortal bodies. Our dragon clan will surely dominate the three realms, and our child will undoubtedly be the chosen one of destiny. Tobin believes the dragon child is the chosen one of destiny. I scoffed inwardly. In my past life, I bore several children for the Serpent King, none of whom were the chosen one. I glanced at him lightly, thinking it was nothing but wishful thinking. Does he take all the powerful beings across the three realms for fools? At this moment, his confidant whispered something in his ear, and he hurriedly left. It's about time. It should be time for my sister to arrive. 13. A palace maid came to inform me that my sister had arrived. She also brought along that General Magnus, and my sister, on the very night of her arrival at the Dragon Palace, entered Tobin's bedchamber. What a shameless hussy. The next day, Tobin's over 90 concubines learned of my sister's affair with their lord. They all seemed eager to tear the sister's skin off. She's not without a man, yet she still comes to seduce our husband. A timid voice spoke up, but the husband seems to really like her. None of them could understand it. Clearly my sister is a promiscuous woman who has been with several men. How could someone of Tobin's status possibly fall for her? I suspect my sister must have told Tobin some unknown secrets. As expected, the palace maid who gathered new information came to report. Tobin took my sister out of the Dragon Palace and disappeared for several days. Now Tobin's concubines are all green with envy, desperate to know what kind of seductive tricks my sister used. My beloved. You have an extraordinary sister, Tobin said with an irrepressible smile as he hurried into my palace. He even piled all the gifts my sister sent me right before my eyes. The moment I saw him, I immediately understood what my sister's method was. Amara. Oh, your sister told me she dreamed you gave birth to the chosen one. Huh? Tobin couldn't stop laughing, his whole body trembling with excitement. If there was one thing Tobin longed for, it was the birth of the chosen one among the dragon kin. Now, he was absolutely certain that the most powerful being in this world would be his son. It wasn't just my sister who said so. The two of them went to see someone these past few days, Taoist Master Darwin, truly the strongest terrestrial immortal in the mortal realm. Tobin was now bordering on madness. I nodded faintly, back when my sister and I were yet unborn. Taoist Master Darwin predicted our family would produce an innate pregnancy vessel. Exactly, every word he speaks comes true. Tobin harbored not a shred of doubt about this terrestrial immortal Darwin. I've already brought him back to the Dragon Palace. I know this Darwin. He's about to die now. The corner of my mouth lifted slightly. Will the dragon child in my womb be the child of destiny? I'm looking forward to it. 14. The day my dragon child was born has finally arrived. The Dragon Palace specially prepared the most luxurious delivery room. The outer area of this delivery room was completely packed with people. The setup of the delivery room was a reliable suggestion put forward by that immortal Darwin. I also met him, with an air of celestial grace and immortal bearing, facing my belly. He kept speaking eloquently. The child of destiny cannot stay by their mother's side, or else, it would be inauspicious. The implication of his words was that after giving birth, I should stay away from my child, otherwise, this so-called chosen one surely won't live long. My elder sister immediately stepped forward at this moment, speaking in a sorrowful tone. Little sister, you've always been an unfortunate one. Let me take on the difficult task of raising the dragon child. I looked at Tobin. Husband, what do you think? Tobin's face showed an expression that said of course. All right. I was in labor for 3 full days and nights. The dragon child unexpectedly wasn't born. Whether it was the midwife or others who came to help. Everyone's faces looked extremely grim. My elder sister barged straight into the delivery room. She screamed out, Sister, the child in your womb is the chosen one by heaven's mandate. You can't be selfish for your own sake. This child is the hope of the dragon clan. My husband Tobin also spoke with a pained expression. My beloved, for the sake of our child, you must sacrifice yourself. As soon as he finished speaking, Darwin burst into my delivery room, holding a sharp sword. He thrust it straight toward my belly. Wretched creature, prepare to meet your doom. Just as the sword tip was about to land on my stomach, I turned and dodged his blade. I had been in labor for 3 agonizing days, but now I felt as light as a swallow. It shocked everyone present, especially my sister, who suddenly seemed to realize something. She frowned at me and trembled. You too. She had her suspicions before, but now she's completely certain. Just like her, I've been reborn. My sister, only now realizing she had already lost long ago. 15. Everything happening now is orchestrated by my elder sister. She believes she has everything under control. She wants to eliminate the mother and keep the child, then use her methods to win Tobin back again, just like in her past life, become Tobin's only wife, the mistress of the Dragon Palace. But had she forgotten? The Darwin she sought out was actually a demonic cultivator. This seemingly immortal and virtuous Earth Immortal was in truth a genuine demonic cultivator, but he did have some skills, having long deduced that between my sister and me, one would be born with the innate pregnancy physique. The news was deliberately leaked early on. This is why my sister and I have been under close scrutiny by all clans since before we were born. Moreover, my sister and I were even allowed to choose our own husbands in my previous life. Despite having an innate fertile constitution, I failed to give birth to the child of destiny. Originally, my sister just wanted to choose the Snake King to live a comfortable life. Little did she know, the Snake King was only looking for a woman who could continuously bear him heirs. Now my cousin Leona has completely taken my sister's place, and she was given by the Snake King to other clan members for their pleasure. She then took advantage of the Snake Clan's Magnus' protection and escaped from the clan. Yes, she escaped on her own, not because I invited her to attend my grand birthing ceremony. I deliberately had Tobin's concubine deliver the invitation to the Snake Clan back then, knowing they would surely try to curry favor with me by making sure the Snake King severely punished my sister. And indeed it happened just as I expected. The Snake King not only disowned my sister but also declared that anyone could freely take advantage of her. 16. It's all your fault. My sister lunged at me, only now realizing that I had been controlling everything all along. I'll kill you. As she lunged at me, there was a sudden thud sound. A crimson longsword pierced through her back. Sister slowly turned her head, meeting Magnus' venomous and disdainful gaze. Why? My sister couldn't believe until her dying moment that the man who loved her to death would actually kill her. My fallen sister pointed at me with her finger. It's you. Then her arm dropped, and she closed her eyes forever. It was indeed me. At this moment, Magnus was already standing behind me. With a flip of my hand, I passed the fire sickle to Magnus. In my previous life, Magnus died by my sister's hand. Though he obtained the fire sickle, he was merely a love-struck fool being used by her. I had found him long ago and told him about the events of my past life, just like Leona's request back then. Whether to believe or not and what choices to make are entirely up to you. In the end, Magnus chose to believe in me, even following me in the final moments. My sister's body had long been ruined by the Serpent Clan, and I deliberately let Magnus rescue her, bringing her to the Dragon Palace. I kicked out with one foot, instantly reducing my sister's corpse to a mist of blood. I reached out and seized her very soul. Her soul shattered in my grasp. The agonized scream making even Tobin stagger back several steps. You. Tobin pointed at me in disbelief. Who are you? You're just an ordinary person. How can you possess such profound cultivation? I ran a hand over my flat stomach, the corner of my mouth quirking slightly. I'm Amara. I became a golden immortal 3 days ago. My cultivation has long surpassed Tobin's now. In the entire Dragon Palace, none of the guests attending the grand event are my match. Let this old Taoist subdue this evil creature. Darwin immediately began chanting spells, and layers of formation arrays enveloped me. His eyes suddenly turned blood red. The child of destiny is mine alone. Only I can devour him. In his past life, he had used this very trick. Only back then, it was his sister who had struggled to conceive, because she pretended to be carrying the child of destiny. This child's birth required the sacrifice of every living soul. At that time in the Dragon Palace, only a handful survived. Now this evil cultivator understands that my child is the true chosen one of destiny. As long as he can devour the chosen one, he can ascend to immortality and escape his doomed fate. But this evil cultivator probably forgot that currently, he's merely a mortal immortal, and I am a golden immortal. With a gentle wave of my hand, all the formations instantly vanished. Darwin was also caught in my grasp. I merely applied slight pressure. With a crack, his neck snapped. Tobin suddenly shouted, "Where's the dragon child? Where's the dragon child?" Looking at my flat belly, with a sound, Tobin spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted dead away. Those who tried to lay hands on me were all killed by Magnus. 17. The moment I stepped out of the Dragon Palace, an ascension ladder appeared before me. I nodded at Magnus, and he instantly transformed into a small snake, coiling around my wrist. This is the hope I give to Magnus. I can help him ascend to immortality. Just like my cousin, I can make her the queen of snakes. Whether it's Tobin or the old monk Darwin, they all want my dragon child. One is to solidify one's own position. The other is to break free from the constraints of mortal immortals, devour the child of destiny, and truly ascend to immortality. Over this 100 years, I gradually absorbed the child of destiny within me. May he be reborn into a better life in his next incarnation, and I am the one who truly walks the path of immortality. So what if you're born with innate talent? My life is mine to control. Story 2. My name is Valerie, and I've been reborn. 1. On the 21st day of the apocalypse, the remaining food at home isn't enough to support 3 people. Unfortunately, I was abandoned. My best friend and my boyfriend tied me up and threw me into the horde of zombies. When I opened my eyes again, I blinked at the ceiling, feeling confused and panicked. It seemed that the pain of being bitten by the zombies still lingered around my neck. It must be a dream. Maybe I've watched too many zombie movies these 2 days, so I dreamed of all this. But everything I experienced in the dream was so real. I picked up my phone and checked the time. It was May 13th, 2026, 2 months before the zombie outbreak in the dream. I turned over and got out of bed, then washed my face to wake myself up. Just as I came out of the bathroom, the doorbell rang. Subconsciously, I wanted to lock the door to prevent the person outside from coming in. The doorbell rang again. I shook my head to dispel the thoughts in my mind and opened the door. Outside the door were my best friend Vivian and my boyfriend Nolan. At the sight of them, I felt nauseous, and the scene of them throwing me into the zombie horde flashed in my mind. Did you meet downstairs and come up together? This question seemed familiar. I seemed to have asked the same thing in the dream. A trace of guilt flashed across Vivian's face, and then she affectionately clung to my arm. Wow, Valerie, you're so prescient. I just met Nolan when I came here, so we came up together. Ordinarily, I would have believed it, but because of the dream, I became cautious when looking at the two of them. Naturally, I didn't miss the guilty look on Vivian's face. I suppressed my thoughts and let the two of them in without showing anything. You two sit down, I'll get something to drink. In the kitchen, I recalled last night's dream. In the dream, I would give them 2 glasses of honey water. Vivian would taste Nolan's water, saying that I valued men over friends, and Nolan would deliberately drink from the side with Vivian's lipstick mark. Everything was developing as in the dream. Vivian drank Nolan's water and played around, making me promise that she was the most important person in my heart. In the dream, I coaxed her, but now I stared at my phone. Soon, a message popped up saying that the diva Willow would hold her final concert in City B. It seemed that everything wasn't a dream. I had been reborn and returned to the time before the zombie outbreak. Nolan and Vivian had already been together for a long time. I just didn't find out because I trusted them too much. They were having an affair right in front of me. It was really about seeking excitement, thinking about what they had done in my previous life. I couldn't wait to kill them. Calm down, don't be impulsive. This wasn't the right time for revenge. I would make them feel the pain of being bitten by zombies. Just wait, I'll make them suffer. Reborn, I must protect myself this time and hold on until the zombies are eliminated. So, I pretended to be apologetic to the two of them and said, someone contacted me about buying the copyright of my book and asked me to go and talk about it. I can't accompany you. Do you need me to send you there? Nolan asked, but he didn't show any intention of getting up. I rolled my eyes silently and said, no need, you can send Vivian back. It's not convenient for her to take a taxi. I can drive there myself. Nolan didn't decline and said okay before leaving. As soon as they went out, I angrily threw the cups they had used into the trash and cursed them as a shameless couple. I grew up in an orphanage. They were the closest people to me. I never expected that the family I chose would stab me in the back. In my previous life, when the zombies first broke out, they were trapped in a hotel and asked me for help. I drove to rescue them regardless of the danger. Nolan told me not to misunderstand. He said he wanted to give me a surprise proposal in the hotel and asked Vivian to help him set it up. In my previous life, I trusted them too much and was very touched. So I went to save them. Thinking about it now, I was so stupid. There were no decorations in the room except for the traces of them taking a shower, because I had the habit of stockpiling food. There was enough food at home. At first, we got along peacefully. As time passed, there were more and more zombies outside, and zombies even appeared at the door of our house. Because of the zombies at the door, we couldn't go out to find food. Gradually, the food wasn't enough, and they set their sights on me. At first, they controlled my diet, only giving me a little food a day to keep me alive. I resisted, but I couldn't win against the two of them. They tied me up. Later, when the food was in short supply, they finally killed me. They threw me into the zombie horde from the window. The surrounding zombies pounced on me, and I was bitten to death. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but shiver. Since they dared to offend me, they should be prepared for revenge. They were having an affair right under my nose. They really thought I was easy to mess with, but now, the most important thing was to prepare to survive before the zombie outbreak. I opened my phone and calculated my savings. It was a total of 193 yuan. I'm an online writer. Half a year ago, I sold the copyright of 2 novels, bought a house, paid the taxes. After deducting the daily living expenses, this was all that was left, thinking that more was better, and that money would be useless after the zombie outbreak. I immediately contacted a real estate agent and put the house up for sale at a price 300,000 yuan lower than the market price. In my previous life, the city I lived in was densely populated, and most people were infected. There were too many zombies in that city, and there weren't many people left, which was not conducive to survival. I remembered going to a small town with a small population. There was a villa area developed there. But because it was too remote and the transportation was inconvenient, few people bought houses there. That place was very suitable for me to survive in the apocalypse. Immediately, I found the phone number of the villa sales office online, made an appointment, and bought a ticket to City D. Then I took a bus to the small county and rented a car to go to the town. 3 hours later, I finally arrived at the place and met the agent. Finally! I bought the innermost villa at the edge with a down payment of 1 million yuan. The agent drove me to the city. I booked a 5-star hotel. I wanted to enjoy every day before the apocalypse came. I had been busy all day and hadn't eaten well. While running a bath, I ordered takeout, including 6 hairy crabs, marinated chicken feet, a seafood platter, and a large bucket of cola. When the takeout arrived, I ate while watching TV. After a busy day, delicious food was the most healing. After eating, I went to take a bath. The warm water relieved my fatigue and tension of the day, too. After getting up and having breakfast, I started to get busy. First, I went to a second-hand car dealership and bought a Wuling Hongwang van. Then I went to a neighboring county and rented a room, planning to have the supplies delivered there so as not to expose myself. By the time I finished these things, it was already afternoon. I didn't dare to delay and went to the large wholesale market in the city to buy supplies. I didn't plan to buy too much food. On the one hand, the shelf life of food wasn't that long. On the other hand, I also wanted to leave some way for others to survive. I ordered a total of 50 boxes of instant noodles, with 24 packs in each box. They could be soaked or eaten dry. I also took 50 boxes of self-heating hot pots of various flavors, 30 bags of 10 kilograms rice and 30 bags of 10 kilograms flour. Handmade noodles had salt in them and could be stored for a longer time, so I bought more. Each bundle was 5 kilograms, and I took 40 bundles. I also took 10 boxes each of instant foods like lotus root starch, soybean milk powder, and black sesame paste. I also collected a sack of dried mushrooms, 2 sacks of dried kidney beans, a sack of dried vegetable leaves, and a sack of dried bean curd sticks and other dried vegetables. I bought a tricycle load of potatoes, sweet potatoes, and Chinese cabbages. They could be stored in the basement for a longer time. Fresh vegetables couldn't be stored for long, but the dried ones could last for a year or two. I bought a lot of meat because it was filling and had high energy. I took 400 jin of dried beef and 400 jin of dried pork. I asked the boss to chop 50 chickens into pieces, cut 400 jin of beef into 500-gram portions, slice 300 jin of pork into 250-gram portions, and cut 40 fish into pieces. I also bought 200 jin of shrimp and divided them into 500-gram portions. I also bought a lot of canned fruits, canned meat, and compressed biscuits. Seasonings were also necessary. I bought 30 boxes each of oil, salt, sauce, and vinegar, 20 boxes each of Chinese prickly ash, star anise, and aniseed, and 60 barrels of 10 kilograms cooking oil. I bought 10 woks, steamers, and rice cookers each, 60 boxes of alcohol blocks with 100 pieces in each box, and 20 alcohol stoves. I also took a lot of daily necessities like toilet water, mosquito coils, scissors, and candles. Daily necessities were very important. I took 200 boxes of toilet paper, 80 boxes of sanitary napkins, and 60 boxes each of toothbrushes, toothpaste, shower gel, and shampoo. By the time I finished all these things, it was almost dark. I left the address and asked for the supplies to be delivered to the room tomorrow. I drove around the pharmacies in the city. I bought 30 bottles of pure vitamin C in small white bottles, 50 bottles of vitamin C chewable tablets, 10 boxes of cold medicine granules, 50 boxes of Sufixime, 10 boxes of large bottles of alcohol, several pieces of gauze, 2 boxes of Band-Aids, and some medicine for stomachache and diarrhea. I also bought 30 bottles of Yunnan Baiyao powder and some other medicines. After buying all these things, I returned to the hotel, ordered takeout casually, and fell asleep as soon as I lay in bed. Early the next morning, I received a delivery call and made an appointment for the delivery time. I drove towards the neighboring county. On the way, I passed by the agricultural materials market and bought a lot of vegetable and grain seeds, planning to plant them in the yard behind the villa, which could ensure the sustainable supply of my food. I also bought fertilizers, plastic films, sickles, pesticides, shovels, ropes, and other things related to farming. When I arrived at the room, I watched the workers unload the goods. After checking them, I drove back to the city and contacted several decoration teams from other provinces. By offering more money, I convinced them to come and work in a different place. I told them that I planned to set up an immersive script killing place and wanted to renovate the villa. I hired a total of 4 decoration teams. They rebuilt the foundation, raised the courtyard wall to 3 meters, thickened it to 1 meter wide, added more cement to the outer layer, and laid a wire mesh on top and electrified it. There was a basement in the villa. I asked the construction team to knock down the original door and stairs leading to the basement and build a wall. I changed the entrance to under the floor of the study on the first floor and installed a hidden switch. It couldn't be discovered at a glance. I also added an exit leading to the yard and camouflaged it. I sealed the balconies, laid solar panels on the roof, and installed a solar power generation system, ensuring that I could still have normal electricity for my daily life even if there was a power outage. I also ordered double-layer explosion-proof windows, pasted anti-peeping films, and installed 3 kinds of doors. The outermost layer was a thick iron door. The middle layer was a metal door, and the innermost layer was an ultra-thick explosion-proof door. When the door seller asked me about it, I said it was part of the decryption link of the script Killing. The seller praised that young people nowadays really knew how to have fun. While the decoration was in full swing, I took the opportunity to go to the market and bought 10 radios, 20 solar charging treasures, 30 emergency lighting lamps, 6 barbecues, 2 high-powered telescopes, 20 flashlights, and 10 boxes of batteries. I also bought quilts, clothes, tablets, books, and various other things. I also ordered 5 large freezers and large storage racks and put them in the basement before the door of the basement was sealed. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, a month and a half passed, and it was June 28, 2026. The decoration of the yard was also completed. I asked for a pile of sand and cement to be brought and piled at the door. I didn't let them remove the construction fence and just said that I would call to notify them to continue the decoration inside in a month. From the outside, it looked like a construction site that hadn't been decorated yet. No one would expect that there was a hidden world inside. After the decoration here was completed, the supplies could be moved in. I drove my van to the room and moved the things back bit by bit. To avoid being discovered, I had to do it alone. It took me 5 days to move all the things in the room. Looking at the shelter with food and drinks, I felt full of security. At this time, the agent contacted me and said that the house had been sold for 2.46 million yuan. After settling the final payment for the explosion-proof door and the construction team, I still had more than 500,000 yuan left. I added some more food and daily necessities and bought a lot of books, game consoles, and other things to relieve boredom. There were still 10 days before the zombie outbreak. The next day after I put the house on the internet, Nolan called me and asked me why I sold the house. I made an excuse and said that I planned to buy a villa and write his name on it as our wedding house, but I was still short of money, so I planned to write books in seclusion for a while and couldn't accompany him. When Nolan heard that I was going to buy a villa for him, he was so excited that he told me to write well and that he didn't need my company, so I wasn't disturbed by him for the next 2 months. Now that the shelter was almost ready, it was time to deal with the 2 of them. 3. When Nolan wasn't at home, I went and installed a micro camera. I also rented 5 rooms near him. In the first room, I put 7 packs of instant noodles, 5 bottles of mineral water, and 5 packs of potato chips. If there were disputes over who got more or less, they would bear grudges. In the second room, I put a box of self-heating rice, 10 boxes of instant noodles, and 2 packs of mineral water. There were a lot of things and people here. They not only had to avoid the zombies but also worried about others' competition. The door here wasn't strong. In the third room, I put anti-inflammatory drugs, a pack of mineral water, and a box of self-heating hot pot. Let them have a good rest here, but I didn't want them to die prematurely. In the fourth room, there was only a knife and a letter. The letter read, "Only one of you can survive. I'll give the food to the one who survives. If both of you are alive, I won't give any food. It depends on the 2 of you who will live and who will die. It would be interesting to make them fight among themselves." In the fifth room, there was only a remotely controlled speaker. Once he, she, or they entered, I would turn on the speaker to attract the zombies and let them be bitten to death. I wouldn't give them a chance to live. After arranging everything and installing the camera, I returned to the villa and planned to have a good rest. When I was almost asleep in bed, a knock on the door woke me up. I picked up a baseball bat, walked towards the door quietly, thinking that I should install a surveillance camera at the door tomorrow. I went to the door and peeked outside through the cat's eye on the outermost door. It was the security guard. I didn't make a sound. He seemed to sense that I was standing at the door and said, "Don't be nervous, my name is Oscar. Maybe we're the same kind of people. You know about the zombies, right?" When I heard what he said, my breath seemed to stop. It took me a while to recover. "What are you talking about? I don't understand." "Zombies, you've watched too many movies." I controlled my trembling voice and tried to sound calm. "I mean no harm. There are only you and me living in the east area of this community. I live in the villa next to yours. I know you have your concerns, but maybe we can cooperate. You don't have many weapons, do you?" Oscar's voice came. Could it be that he had been monitoring me usually? Although the end of the world hadn't come yet and he seemed kind usually, I still refused to open the door for him. After all, it wasn't safe at night. "It's too late, you should go back. I'll think about it and come to find you at dawn," I replied firmly when he heard what I said. He seemed to realize that it wasn't a good time to come to me so late and said okay before leaving. After watching him leave, I rushed to the third floor and looked at the villa next door. After a while, I saw the window on the third floor of that villa open, and the light shone out. Oscar stood in front of the window and waved at me. It seemed that he wasn't lying to me. Had he also been reborn? Many questions arose in my heart, and I could only wait until dawn to ask him. I had no dreams that night. As soon as it was light, I got up, washed up in a hurry, and went to the security office to find Oscar. When I arrived, Oscar hadn't come yet. I observed at the door for a while. Indeed, few people were entering or leaving the east area. When Oscar saw me from a distance, he joked, "You're here quite early." He seemed very friendly. I observed him. He was wearing a white short-sleeved shirt and suit pants. He had long legs and looked about 188 centimeters tall. He was very muscular. There was a harmless smile on his clean face, and his eyes were firm. He seemed like an honest person. Oscar opened the security office and invited me in. "Come in and have a seat." I sat on the chair without speaking and just looked at him. Oscar laughed when he saw me. "It's right to be a bit cautious. When I went back yesterday, I saw that you had finished moving things. I thought you should have almost finished your preparations, so I knocked on the door and wanted to cooperate with you. I didn't think it through and scared you." Seeing that I didn't speak, Oscar continued, "I noticed you when you brought the decoration team. Your decoration made me think that you might be like me and know that the zombies would break out. I don't know how you knew. I had the same dream for a week 3 months ago, dreaming of the zombie outbreak. My dreams are usually very accurate. Besides, I had the same dream for a week, so I started making preparations." He spoke very frankly. He probably wasn't lying to me. I was reborn. I told Oscar about my experience. After hearing my story, Oscar looked at me sympathetically. "You really made a bad choice of friends. How do you plan to get revenge on them?" I didn't answer and just said that I had my own plans and he would know when the time came. Oscar didn't ask further and changed the subject. "I see that you don't have many weapons. Let's cooperate. At least we can be each other's company. We can definitely get through this together," Oscar suggested. I looked at Oscar's physique. Indeed, the chance of survival was a bit higher if I cooperated with him than if I were alone, so I nodded in agreement. When he saw that I agreed, Oscar urgently pulled me to see his shelter. On the way, he asked me why I didn't talk much, and I said I was just like that. He grinned and said he was the same. When we arrived at Oscar's house, it looked the same as the other houses in the community on the surface, but there was a hidden world inside. He had dug another layer under the original basement and moved all the activities on the ground underground. The first basement floor was his living area, and it was fully furnished. The second basement floor was the storage space. He had even more food stocked up than I did, and there were all kinds of things. He then took me to see his weapons. There were all kinds of swords, chainsaws, anti-riot forks, and anti-riot shields. I suspected that he became a security guard just to get these things. There were also bulletproof vests and other controlled items. I didn't know how he got them. He then took me to the monitoring room. He connected the community surveillance to his home. He could see whoever entered the community as soon as they reached the gate. Oscar said that since he decided to build a shelter, he had been looking for a suitable place. This villa area, which was isolated from everywhere, was the most suitable. In order to better understand the community, he applied for the security guard position here and started his renovation. He pointed to the hidden place in the corner and said, "I dug a tunnel leading to your house. As soon as you agree, I'll dig through it. There are 2 entrances, one leading to your house and the other leading to the back mountain outside. We can escape from here when there's danger." I looked at him in surprise and slowly gave him a thumbs up. "You really have some tricks. Aren't you afraid that I won't admit that I know about the zombies and all this digging will be in vain?" Oscar looked at me with a cunning smile. "You will definitely agree. After all, one more person means one more layer of protection, right?" I was speechless and actually too lazy to argue with him. In the next few days, we started digging the tunnel, and I also asked Oscar to train my physique. Oscar also moved to my place and connected the monitoring system here. The windows of Oscar's house were explosion-proof, and the outer door was the standard aluminum door of the community, but the inner door was an explosion-proof door. Soon, it was a week before the zombie outbreak, Oscar and I dressed up and sent a letter to the mayor's mailbox, which said that the zombies were coming and where they would first appear. Afraid that they wouldn't believe it, I also mentioned several major events that were about to happen to prove it. This was all I could do. As long as it didn't endanger myself, I was willing to help everyone. After waiting for 2 days, just as I was considering whether to write another letter, the government issued an announcement saying that a new virus was coming and asking everyone to stock up on supplies and stay at home as much as possible. A small number of people didn't believe it and said it wasn't necessary, but the vast majority stocked up on supplies at home for safety. I turned on the surveillance of Nolan's house. He and Vivian had already moved in together while I was away. When they saw the announcement, Vivian suggested going out to buy some things as a precaution. I had given them a chance to stock up on supplies, so I immediately called them, pretending not to know that they were living together. I told Nolan that I would be back the day after tomorrow and would bring a lot of supplies, so he didn't need to buy anything. I said the same to Vivian. They had been relying on me for a long time. When they heard what I said, they went back to the sofa and started playing with their phones. They also whispered behind my back, calling me a fool and a sycophant. Let them scold. They won't be able to scold anymore in a few days. There was one day left before the zombie outbreak. Oscar and I were in a heavy mood. We locked the community gate. We had done everything we could. We just hoped that humanity would win and the country would protect us. To ease our mood, Oscar suggested having hot pot at home today. Coincidentally, Oscar had bought a lot of fresh fruits a few days ago. Eating watermelon and having hot pot in the air-conditioned room was really nice. After dinner, Oscar and I carefully checked everything to make sure everything was foolproof. For early the next morning, I opened my phone and saw the push message. There was an incident of a man biting someone at a certain station. The biting man and the bitten person had been controlled. I also swiped and saw several incidents of people biting others in various places. This was the time when the zombie outbreak happened in my previous life. But this time, because of the government's intervention, there were few people bitten. At noon, I saw some official videos. Experts speculate that this is a new virus. The residents are asked to stay at home and not go out. If someone in your home has a high fever, isolate them immediately. The government will send drones to distribute daily necessities. Private drones are prohibited from flying during this period. The country will not give up on anyone. Please rest assured. Even with the precautions, the number of people bitten spread. In the video, there were flesh and blood zombies wandering on the street, biting people, with blood flowing, and making wooloo roars. The comments under the video were diverse. Thanks to the government's reminder, I stocked up on food at home. Everyone, come on, we will definitely get through this. My son is still at work outside. I don't know how he is. I hope he doesn't have an accident. Is this for real? I didn't stock up on food. Who can sell me some? There were also some bold people who went to the street and started a live broadcast. He said he wasn't afraid of the zombies but was afraid that everyone wouldn't follow him. It was only when the people in the live broadcast saw a group of zombies surround him and bite off his flesh that they realized what a disaster this was. Oscar sat next to me and comforted me. We have done everything we could. Now it's up to the country. I turned off my phone and nodded. Even though I had experienced it once, it was still very impactful. Ring, ring, ring. A phone call came. I picked up the phone. Nolan asked loudly, "Valerie, where are you? Now there are zombies everywhere. Since you didn't let us stock up on supplies, what should we eat? Vivian is already with me. You come to us with the supplies quickly." I was really angry when I heard this and said coldly, "There's no food left. I thought you two could be full just by kissing." Nolan then realized something. "You know about it. You bitch, Valerie, you did it on purpose." He said it as a statement. I sneered. "There are two options in front of you. One is to listen to me, and the other is to wait for death." Vivian quickly said, "We choose the first option. Valerie, please forgive us. We will listen to you. Now that there are zombies everywhere, we should unite." In the surveillance, Nolan gestured to Vivian, asking her to curry favor with me. I sent a photo of myself with a lot of supplies to Nolan and Vivian on WeChat respectively. I made sure they saw it and then withdrew it. "You've seen it. I have the ability to keep you alive, so don't play any tricks and be obedient." When they saw that I had so many supplies, they immediately became obsequious and kept promising to be obedient and do whatever I asked. I said to them in a satisfied tone, "I'll give you a way to survive." I told them the location of the first room and the password. "There's some food I put there. You can go and get it." After that, I hung up the phone. Since they were close by, they called me at night and said they had arrived. When they entered the room, I turned on the surveillance and also heard Nolan and Vivian's curses. Nolan urgently opened a pack of potato chips and stuffed them into his mouth. Then he opened a bottle of water and took a big gulp, after eating and drinking his fill. He started scolding me. "That bitch, Valerie, how dare she play tricks on me? When I see her, I'll teach her a lesson." Vivian chimed in, "That bitch has stocked up so many things. We should curry favor with her first. She's just venting her anger by tormenting us now. When we see her, if we throw her to the zombies, all those things will be ours. They have to be alive to see me first." I turned off the surveillance and ignored them for now. Oscar came back to the monitoring room and looked at the screen. Currently, the community and the streets were safe. Since the zombie outbreak started, I watched the surveillance during the day, and Oscar watched it at night. I cooked at noon, and he cooked in the afternoon. They managed to survive there for 5 days, but they ran out of food even with saving. They called me and said they had no food left. I told them about the second room and also said that although there was a lot of food, it was also very dangerous, and it was up to them whether to go or not. When Nolan and the others heard that there was a lot of food, they didn't care and shouted, "It's okay, we'll be careful, we're almost starving to death." Then they hung up on me. I could only wish them good luck. I turned on the surveillance of the second room and couldn't wait to watch that was about to happen. Nolan and the others were a bit lucky and managed to reach the second room unharmed. When they saw the food in the room, they let down their guard. They closed the door but didn't notice a figure following and observing them from a distance. After Nolan and Vivian ate and drank their fill, they fell asleep without calling me. In the middle of the night, they were awakened by a violent crashing sound. The person who had been following them led a team of 7 people and broke in. The leader of the group glanced at the food in the room, and his eyes lit up with joy. Then he ordered his subordinates, "Take these things back." When Vivian saw these people taking their things, she immediately started cursing. "Don't take them, you bunch of robbers, damn it, don't touch my things." The group wasn't angry. They looked at Vivian and Nolan like they were garbage and laughed. "Beat them up so they don't bite randomly." When they heard the leader's order, the underlings went up and punched and kicked Nolan and the others. They were beaten black and blue, and their noses were bleeding. The leader threw a pack of instant noodles at them. "Here, this is for your medical expenses." Then they left. After they recovered for a while, they called me. Nolan was furious and shouted into the phone, "Did you do this on purpose? We've been beaten up. You've vented your anger. Come and pick us up quickly, or I won't forgive you." I did it on purpose, but I couldn't say it. Pretending not to know anything, I said, "What's wrong?" "What do you mean by venting my anger? I just wanted you to make some effort to come to me. I was afraid you'd be in danger, so I prepared supplies for you along the way." Vivian was afraid that Nolan would anger me, so she quickly explained to me that another group of people had robbed them of their supplies just now. "I told you there was danger, but you didn't listen and hung up the phone. Now look at what happened. I was angry with you, but I wouldn't harm you like this. There's medicine in this place, you can go there. Come to me once you've rested." I told them the location of the third room and then hung up the phone. I really wouldn't harm them like this, because I want their lives. I stayed in front of the surveillance of the third room, after Oscar, and I took turns keeping watch for 2 days, just when I thought they had died on the way. Nolan and Vivian supported each other and pushed open the door of the third room. They had injuries all over their bodies, and their clothes were stained with blood. They looked really pitiful. Nolan and Vivian were also in a sluggish mental state, looking as if they were about to die. I called them. I pretended to be enthusiastic and said to them, "I forgive you, come to me." I guided them to the fourth room. Nolan just grunted and hung up the phone. The two of them lay in the third room for another 2 days. They didn't communicate much, but I could see the hatred in their eyes. I guess they hated me for torturing them. When they arrived at the fourth room, Nolan and Vivian panicked visibly after reading the letter on the table. They called me in a hurry. Nolan opened his mouth and asked, "Valerie, you must be joking, right? We've done what you said. Come out quickly. Are you hiding here?" Nolan threw his phone and started searching the room. He kept shouting, "Come out, come out." Obviously, Nolan had broken down. It seemed that he really wasn't in his right mind. Vivian tried to take the phone and say something to me, but Nolan suddenly flew into a rage and cursed, "Valerie, you bitch, I'm with Vivian. What man doesn't cheat? Can't you be more magnanimous? You want me to die, you bitch. Don't let me find you." After that, Nolan angrily smashed the phone on the ground. I let him vent his anger on the phone because he had eaten too much and had the strength to do so. Vivian quickly picked up the phone, but it couldn't be turned on. She panicked and kept muttering, "It's over, it's over." I cleared my throat and turned on the voice conversation of the camera. "Nolan, why do you think I would forgive you? I said that only one of you two can live. Choose for yourselves. I'll pick up the one who survives." When they heard the voice coming from the camera, they understood everything and realized that I was serious. Nolan rushed in front of the camera and knelt down, kowtowing as he said, "It was that bitch Vivian who seduced me. I still love you, Valerie. Please save me." When Vivian heard Nolan's words, she quietly approached the table where the knife was placed. Only when she held the knife in her hand did she curse, "Valerie, don't listen to his nonsense. It was him who said you were no good and that he was just playing with you. He forced me." Vivian, stop talking nonsense. Valerie, don't you love me the most? As long as you save me, I'll listen to you from now on. Nolan turned around and saw Vivian holding a knife towards him. He was immediately enraged and pounced on Vivian. You bitch, you want to kill me? Vivian waved the knife and shrieked. Nolan couldn't get close to her for a while. Nolan rolled his eyes and shouted, Vivian, don't fall for his trick. Valerie just wants to see us kill each other. He won't save us. Calm down. Vivian was stunned in place by his shout and looked at Nolan, not knowing what to do. She thought what Nolan said made some sense. At this time, Nolan suddenly approached Vivian and took out a knife from nowhere and stabbed it into Vivian's stomach. Vivian covered her stomach and looked at Nolan in disbelief, but Nolan was like a madman. He pulled out the knife and kept stabbing Vivian while shouting, Valerie, look, I killed her. Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied? Come and save me? Come quickly, I killed someone for you. I killed someone. He rushed in front of the camera and kowtowed. Blood flowed from his forehead to his face. He looked terrifying, grinning and asking me to save him. I took a deep breath and said, okay, come to this place. I'll be waiting for you. I told Nolan the location of the 5th room. The 5th room was actually a warehouse facing the street. Nolan rushed over quickly. As soon as he entered the door, I pressed the horn. Zombies were sensitive to sound. The horn was very loud, and the surrounding zombies gradually surrounded him. Nolan shouted to turn off the horn, but I didn't turn on the sound, so I couldn't hear him no matter how much he shouted. He seemed to realize something and looked terrified, but he didn't know what to do. Through the surveillance outside the warehouse, I saw that a large number of zombies had gathered at the door. I turned off the horn. Nolan, I wish you and Vivian could be locked together down there forever. After that, I remotely controlled the door of the warehouse to open. The zombies rushed in and overwhelmed Nolan. He shouted that I didn't keep my word, but I could only say that I was sorry and that I didn't eat beef. The zombies quickly ate Nolan up. Listening to his screams, I felt extremely satisfied. You finally experienced the pain I had in my previous life. I exited the surveillance and let out a long sigh. This matter came to an end with their deaths. 5. When Oscar saw me coming out of the house, he ran to me and didn't ask anything. He just said that he had cooked a table full of delicious food and asked me to come and eat. 2 months passed. During this period, the electricity and water were cut off one after another. When browsing videos, there were zombies everywhere outside. At first, the government delivered supplies every 5 days. Slowly, the frequency of the government's supply delivery changed from every 5 days to every 10 days, and now it was every 20 days. There were also some discordant voices on the internet. Many people said that they had been robbed. Some robbers said, so what if I robbed you? If you have the ability, you can rob too. It seemed that it was chaotic outside. Oscar and I took turns watching the surveillance. I watched during the day, and Oscar watched at night. There were also some scattered zombies at the entrance of the community. We turned on the solar power and connected the well water. However, our phones couldn't receive the situation outside anymore. We took out the vegetable seeds and planted them. We also played games occasionally and lived like this. The change happened in the month of the Spring Festival. An armored vehicle crashed through the gate of the community, and 6 big men got out of the vehicle and started searching the community. Oscar and I weren't panicked at all. Not long ago, we moved all the supplies from Oscar's house here, and we also buried the tunnel on his side. Soon they came in front of my villa, seeing that it looked like a construction site. They didn't plan to come in, but one of them suggested that they couldn't miss any place, so they walked around the sand and the shielding board and came to my door. Because the sand was too close to the door, they could only stand in a row in front of my door. As soon as they touched my door, they got electrocuted. They were so scared that they quickly came out, and this revealed that there were people in this house. The leader looked at the house with a malicious expression and ordered to remove the shielding board first. After removing it, they started digging the sand with their hands, wooden boards, and other available tools. They dug for a few days, and Oscar and I watched them. We treated it like a drama while eating. Finally, they dug away the sand after 3 days. My electricity was directly connected to the big iron gate, and they couldn't get in no matter what. Sure enough, they were helpless in front of the electrified big iron gate. They wanted to crash into the wall. There were greening trees all around, and the car couldn't drive in. 2 of them went to Oscar's house and went to the 3rd floor to see the situation there. Unfortunately, they couldn't see anything. The anti-peeping film on the windows blocked their view. They didn't try hard to find a way to get in. Instead, they stayed in Oscar's house. They sent someone to my place to take a look every day. They knew that we wouldn't come out, so they didn't waste words with us. This went on for a week. They went out to find supplies during the day and came back to harass us at night. Yesterday, they threw a burning torch into the yard. Fortunately, there was nothing flammable in the yard, and the torch went out after a while. I was really annoyed by their actions. As the saying goes, I'm not afraid of thieves stealing, but I'm afraid of thieves thinking about my things. I couldn't be sure that they wouldn't find a way to get in someday. Oscar and I discussed and decided to drive them away. While they were asleep at night, Oscar and I each operated a drone. One drone was flying with a white flag that said I was willing to let them in, and the other one was hanging with rotten meat and a speaker to attract the zombies. I played music and flew the drone to their window to wake them up. They opened the window and saw me standing on the third floor. They let down their guard, thinking that a girl like me couldn't cause any trouble. I shouted at them, "My solar panels are broken. And I'm almost out of electricity. I can let you in, but please don't hurt me, okay?" Those big men all showed lewd smiles on their faces. "Don't worry, we'll take good care of you." I pretended not to understand their words and thanked them. Then they came to my door and shouted for me to open the door quickly. Oscar was also almost ready. He attracted a large group of zombies to the entrance of the community. I opened the 2 doors and shouted at them, "I'm going to let you in now." After that, I heard their cries, "A zombie horde. It's a zombie horde, run." Some of them patted the door and asked me to let them in. Some wanted to run back to Oscar's house, but they found that they couldn't get in. Oscar's house had a remote-controlled door. When we moved things some time ago, we thought it was okay, so we didn't close the door. Instead, these people lived in it. As soon as they came out, Oscar closed the door. The leader saw the drone hanging with rotten meat in the sky and understood that it was my plan. He fought the zombies and called for everyone to get in the car quickly. The weakest one among them was overwhelmed by the zombie horde. The leader gritted his teeth and stepped on the gas, taking the people in the car and leaving. I thought that since they had suffered a great loss, they might come back, so I didn't lead the zombies away. Sometimes I threw them some vegetable leaves, meat, and other things to make them wander around in a certain number. 6 months passed since those big men left. It had been a whole year since the end of the world came. One day, I was harvesting vegetables in the yard when I heard the roar of a helicopter overhead. Oscar was also attracted by the sound and came out. We watched as the helicopter landed, and several soldiers in camouflage uniforms got out and shot dead the nearby zombies. A trace of guilt flashed across Vivian's face, and then she affectionately clung to my arm. The soldiers in camouflage saluted us and said, "Comrades, hello, we are soldiers of the 654th Unit. The country has developed a solution. We have also dealt with most of the zombies. Our base is built nearby. It's very safe here. You can move to the base or stay in your original place. We will do our best to help everyone." Finally, this day had come. We welcomed the soldiers into the house and cooked a meal for them. At first, they kept declining, but they couldn't resist when Oscar and I kept pulling them to stay. After the meal, we also packed a lot of food for the soldiers. We asked for the location of the base. Oscar and I discussed and decided to donate half of our supplies to the base. I agreed. Without the protection of the country, even with these supplies, we couldn't survive for a few years. We went to the base and told the base leader our thoughts. He expressed his gratitude and also gave us a car to make it convenient for us to travel between the base and our home. The leader told us that thanks to someone's anonymous reminder before the end of the world, they were able to control the zombies so quickly. Now bases have been established in many places, and he believed that life before the zombies could be restored soon. We walked around the base. The people who survived all had smiles on their faces and were working hard to contribute to the construction of a new home. Finally, both of us stayed to work at the base. Oscar and I became revolutionary partners who trusted each other the most.